We got two different Monday Night Football games, and I got a pick for each game, and one of them is plus money. In this video, I'm going to break down my two favorite picks for Bears versus Vikings, as well as Raiders versus Falcons. So I'm recording this before Sunday Night Football, and we're currently 1-1 on our picks given out on this channel for Sunday. We took the Dolphins +3, big time loser. They lost by 8. Tua had 4 total turnovers, 3 interceptions, 1 fumble. But we did hit the under between the Steelers and the Eagles, and that was a massive sweat. We took under 43.5. It ended on 40 points. Thank you, Eagles, for drowning out the clock at the end. So the gambling gods, they took a little bit of luck from us and then gave it right back. And we're currently sweating out a Bills-Seahawks teaser. Bills hit the first leg of their teaser, and we're still hoping that the Seahawks can do the same. I really appreciated all the support from our last video, and if you've been enjoying these breakdowns and all of these free picks, the best way to support is just hit the like button and subscribe, and let me know in the comment section below what you're on for Week 15 Monday Night Football, because we got 2 games. You got to have picks for me. Let me know in the comment section below. And a reminder that this channel is sponsored by BetMGM. It is the perfect time to use promo code JustGridiron for a first bet offer up to $1,500. Deposit at least $10, and if you lose your first wager on BetMGM after using promo code JustGridiron, you'll get it all back up to $1,500 in bonus bets. However, gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 21 years or older. Terms and conditions apply. Now, before we begin, I put out 2 teasers on my Twitter before the Sunday slate started, teasing the Dolphins up to +9 with the Vikings -0.5, basically getting the Vikings down to a pick'em, and the Bucks +9 with the Vikings down to a pick'em. So we now have a 1.5 unit position on the Vikings money line, basically. So make sure that you're following me on Twitter, because I release these videos early. Sometimes value comes up in the morning, so make sure to be on there. But I'm going to talk about my 2 favorite player props, one in each game, because we're already very invested in the Vikings just winning outright against the Bears. And on that note, we're going to start with my favorite player prop between the Vikings and the Bears. Now, Roschon Johnson is out, giving the backfield duties pretty much completely to DeAndre Swift. But of course, Travis Homer is still in there. In Swift's last game versus the Vikings, he had 3 receptions for 35 yards. But he really had no success on the ground. He had 13 carries for 30 yards rushing. While he will get the bulk of the workload in this one, both on the ground and in the receiving game, he's really behind one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL that has just looked really bad, especially lately. And it's going to get even worse with the absence of left tackle Braxton Jones, and who's filling in as the rookie tackle, Kieran Amagaji. I think that's his name. I looked up his stats. Not good. He's really failed to compete at the NFL level in limited action. However, I do think that DeAndre Swift is going to be more active in the receiving game once again for the Bears, as the Vikings have allowed starting running backs to go over 2.5 receptions in 5 of their last 8 games since their bye week. And it's not just running backs, or at least the starting running backs, as you can see from this list. The starters are getting plenty of touches, but there's also plenty of backups getting receptions as well. And it makes sense, because Brian Flores' defense does an excellent job of forcing teams into third down long situations with a league-high blitz rate of 38.7%, and is tied with the Lions for the most quarterback hurries at 51. That'll often lead to more dump-offs for running backs. Now, the last time these two teams faced each other, Caleb Williams ran for 6 times for 33 yards, converting a few of those 3rd and 4th down opportunities with his legs. With an emphasis on keeping Caleb Williams from escaping the pocket and Williams needing to get the ball out quickly, Swift should be more of a safety valve in the receiving game for Williams in this game. It's also likely a game script where the Bears are trailing, as they are 7-point underdogs in this one, so we should get even more passing opportunities than we might in another game. And Swift is only over this line once in his last 5 games, but that one hit again was against the Vikings. And before those 5 games, he was over in 3 of 5, making it 4 of his last 10. But with a game script that heavily favors passing, a matchup leaning towards more dump-offs, passes for Caleb with pressure in his face, and my model on Rithmm having DeAndre Swift's true line on receptions closer to -120, giving us a 55% chance of hitting this prop at +125. I had to put 1 unit on DeAndre Swift over 2.5 receptions to win 1.25 units, because of course it's a plus money banger. Let's get to our second pick. But before we do, I highly recommend downloading Rithmm. That's the model I've been using. You can find the link in the description of this video to access your 7-day free trial. You can build your own AI-backed model or use their back-tested model with tons of props and game predictions. They also do other sports if you're looking for more NBA or college football, college basketball. They got it all. Find the link in the episode description to start your 7-day free trial. I think you're going to like it. Our next player prop is in the Raiders versus the Falcons game, and it's following a similar formula here. I want to target a pass catcher in what should be a pass-happy game script for the Las Vegas Raiders. We're going to look at a pass catcher, not quite a wide receiver, and I'll tell you why. Now, the Raiders have had to make a quarterback change after both Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell have gone down with an injury, so now we got Desmond Ridder. So I was looking at players that Desmond Ridder was targeting more heavily once he came in to relieve Aiden O'Connell after he left with an injury. And what I noticed is he was targeting tight ends a lot. He came in for just 3 drives and targeted tight ends 8 times. Now, you'd expect all of those to be going to Brock Bowers. No, 3 of them went to Brock Bowers. And if everybody does the math real quick, that means 5 for backup tight end Michael Mayer. It makes sense. Targeting the tight ends is often easier for a third-string quarterback like Desmond Ridder, who has kind of always had a thing for tight ends. In his lone season as a starter for the Atlanta Falcons, Kyle Pitts and Jonnu Smith were second and third in Falcons receiving yards that season. I know it sounds counterintuitive when I'm pointing you to take an over on a backup tight end when the Falcons are actually pretty good against tight ends. The Falcons rank 14th in receiving yards allowed to tight ends this season. So it wouldn't be surprising if they have a pretty good game plan for Brock Bowers, which again lends itself to more targets for Michael Mayer. So when Michael Mayer went for 68 receiving yards last week, I noticed that down the stretch with Desmond Ridder, he was finding a lot of these gaps in this heavy zone coverage that the Bucs run. They run the 6th most zone coverage in the league. Well, against the Falcons play the 2nd most zone coverage in the league. So I think it's going to be a similar look for Desmond Ridder and in kind of more of a similar game script here. And I expect Mayer to be just as involved as he was with Ridder last time, as more of a safety blanket if the Falcons end up doing a good job on Brock Bowers, leading to more open gaps in that zone for a guy like Michael Mayer. So at 13.5 receiving yards, I think there is a ton of upside here, and I would take it up to 15.5. But I bet Michael Mayer, backup tight end for the Las Vegas Raiders, over 13.5 receiving yards on Monday Night Football. We also got DeAndre Swift, over 2.5 receptions at plus 125. And of course, we have a big investment on the Vikings to just win outright. But make sure to follow me on X because I might end up going back in on the Bears +7 to try and middle it. I want to see the line movement. I want to see more injuries if there's any late stuff. So make sure to go follow me on X. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, be sure to like the video and subscribe. And again, let me know in the comment section below. What do you think of my picks? What are you else on for Monday Night Football? I'll be sure to answer all of them just like I always do. We got a loaded slate for Monday Night Football. Let's sweep it all. Why not us?